What's your take on
So
Wirtz?
the way I'm seeing him now, with everything I've seen from last season to even now, I don't think he's fit for purpose in the Premier League.
Okay.
I honestly don't. A lot of people don't like Tsimikas, but I actually think his quality is better than Kerkez. But that shows how far the fall off is.
Right.
I'm gonna say this nice and clear: we cannot afford to sell Gakpo
Butter.
under any circumstance.
There for the people in the back. Oh.
So I'll even go out on a limb and be like, if we don't make any signings, we won't qualify for the Champions League.
I agree with that. I'll say that as well. I'll go out and I think if we don't make no signings, we don't qualify for the Champions League. Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Straight Out of Anfield. We've been on hiatus. It's been a minute. A lot's been going on, but we are back this season. Regular content. So like, comment, subscribe, share, the whole 9 yards. You know what I'm saying? But listen, because of how long we've been away, I think there's a lot of things that's already been said in the Liverpool community, but we'll just give you our versions. V, welcome. How you doing, my brother?
Not bad, not bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, average start.
Yeah, I feel you. All right, listen, place to start, because we haven't really touched on it or anything outside, you know, in the public domain. Iraola appointment. What's your take?
I'm happy with it, to be fair. I'm happy with it in the sense of I think it's more the way he plays more suited to how I like to see Liverpool teams, you know. I think it might take a while for the team to adapt to his philosophy and the way he wants them to play, but generally I'm happy with it.
Let me ask a question before we go into what's your expectations? What's your expectations of Liverpool this season?
Yeah, it's a good question, because all right, my expectations is qualify for the Champions League, but not a struggle like last season. Qualify, but in between have games that show evidence of the direction we're going in.
Okay.
You know, like I don't mind if we lose games, but there's, you know,
progression.
Yeah, progression, grit, determination, you know, ballsy performances. So yeah, that's my take on that. But even so with even me saying that, like our first game of the season against Newcastle. So in my head, listen, everyone has their opinions, but I don't think St James's Park is an easy place to go.
Yeah,
The
not
first
at all.
game of the season,
Not at all.
a lot of emotion involved with the tribute to Kevin Keegan. So,
R.I.P. Kevin Keegan, is that? Yeah.
for sure, R.I.P. So you knew they were going to be up for the game, but with how decimated their team was, what's your take on the performance?
You know what? This may sound controversial when I was watching the game, but I actually thought Newcastle had a better squad than Liverpool. Like what? And I say squad, I think Liverpool's got a better team. I think if Liverpool's 11 turned up and played to their maximal, I think they can take on most people. Do you know what I'm saying? But I looked at the squad, and I can't even remember who's Newcastle's tall striker.
I forgot his name.
Wag something. Is it Vegs the Horn or something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that. Sorry, don't let me. I butchered your name, brother. But I looked at it. And he didn't come on. And I looked at I think the 5 substitutions they brought on, and I was like, bar Ekitike and Bradley, and we know Gomez. We haven't got injuries, so that's basically our squad. So I looked at our squad, and I'm just talking about, I think, Premier League appearances. So players that know the league and that have played. So I looked at Liverpool's squad and I was thinking, wow, if we need somebody to come on and change the game, what are we doing? Who are we talking? Who are we bringing on? So that was the first thing that stood out for me. And listen, I know we'll talk about Liverpool's lack of depth, like let alone the squad, the lack of depth. But I thought what was not alarming, because, you know, I asked you about expectations, and I think it's going to be the back end of the season when you kind of start seeing Liverpool, whatever Iraola's template is, that's when we're going to start seeing it. So I looked at yesterday, and it just reminded me of Slot's team. Like, it just reminded, there was really nothing different in regards to how Slot was playing and how Liverpool played starting of the season. So that, not the element of the worry, it was what was good, because I like what Iraola said after the game, and he called it out. And he basically, because we watched the game, and at first I was cussing Kerkez. I won't even lie. And then,
Yeah.
you know, as again, I was a player, but when Iraola spoke, I was like, fuck. Elanga's probably the quickest player in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So, and they play to their strengths. They wait on the counter attack, wait for a mistake, and they hit us.
Yeah.
But the second goal was for me, the second goal was more a mentality shift that needs to shift in regards where I think when the mentality is of what the manager is, and because the reason why I say that, because he alluded onto it, he said maybe there was a lack of naivety because we had the players around. And when you've got that mentality that's drummed into players that, but I don't care if you're Wirtz or Van Dijk strength-wise, but if you see something, stop it at source, you know, and it's that mindset that I think he needs to drum into it, you know, because, listen, I tweeted, I think Liverpool's team is too nice.
I knew, that's what I was going to jump onto.
It is too
way
nice.
Too nice. Way too nice. The only kind of dog or ratty player is probably McAllister.
Yeah, he got that grit. He got that, you know, where he got that Argentinian, whatever it takes to kind of, and that's what. So I was like, and I stated it, like, I do think what worries me, because and when we spoke about it, I thought Jackie on the ball, I think he's a baller. You know what I'm saying? Especially we haven't seen him. He's not at his peak. He's not fully fittest, but on the ball. But I thought a big problem last season was the lack of physicality we've got as Liverpool. And that's, for me, I think he's a better player than Konate, but of course lacks that physicality. Listen, he may grow X, Y, and Z, but of course Frimpong, and then you've got the likes of Wirtz, and then you've got Rio. You know, you go through the team, you're like,
Kerkez,
you're like, yo, man, we're less physical in a league that's become more physical. So that's but then listen, I would say there's still a mentality. I know there's the physical attribute that you've got, but there is a mentality to say, I don't care how big or small you are, I'm not going to get beat. And I do think Iraola's got that passion that he's going to drum into his players.
I agree with you on that Wissa moment where he basically carried it from Newcastle's third.
Three players around him.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. Like, you see, like, we'll get onto it. So yeah, we can segue into Wirtz with this one. So Wirtz was one of the players around him, and the half-hearted challenge he put in, just, I don't know, man. Obviously it's the first game, so.
What's your take on Wirtz?
So the way I'm seeing him now, with everything I've seen from last season to even now, I don't think he's fit for purpose in the Premier League.
Okay.
I honestly don't. It's not that I don't think he's a good player. I think he's a really good player, but I don't think he's a Premier League player. Or I don't think Liverpool's setup is getting the benefits of a Wirtz.
Okay.
So I think if he was in a Man City setup or even an Arsenal setup, I think he would look a way better player. I think because Arsenal, basically, they play with 4 centre-backs, then you got basically 2 DMs. So he would have a more free role in terms of he wouldn't necessarily have to get back as much as, you know, he has to for Liverpool. So I think the structure of Liverpool and the way we want to play, especially with high intensity, I don't think it's going to suit Wirtz, and I don't see him. I think our best team is without him.
Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Listen, I hope that we can clip this moment and Wirtz hits 15 goals, 15 assists. I hope it. I won't lie, I can't see it neither. I really can't. And I do believe that, I think his best position will be a 10. And I heard Sturridge say that, you know what, Coutinho came in as a left-sided, and as he matured, he then became a 10. I don't think he can play the way Liverpool set up as a left-sided, because you've got to go up and down. I think there's a real physical output to it. So I do see him as a 10. And listen what I think. I think that because, and I've said this, I think Liverpool's crying out for a 6. And the reason why I think you're crying out for a 6, because I think I think that it's okay that players can't do everything. I think that there is, I saw Liverpool's team and I thought it lacked balance. And because I think if you want to try and put Gravenberch and Szoboszlai as 2 DMs, I think you're taking away their greatest strengths. And that's them with the ball and gliding and thinking about attack. Every attacker still has to think and put their defensive duties in play. I'm not saying that, but I do think there should be. So you've got somebody who, for me, their default setting is. I think Gravenberch's ceiling is. He get it right. I think he's a future Ballon d'Or winner, and I've said that. I think his ceiling is crazy. I see what he does with the ball, what he does before he even gets the ball. I think he glides, you know. But then you're asking somebody who's forward thinking, who's in the box, and it showed. I think two of his mistakes, especially the first one, where it was decision making. But then you're asking him to then track back. And listen, maybe there is got to be an understanding that both midfielders can't flip it. Yeah. Sometimes it does look like it looks childish.
Yeah.
You know, and I know there's a risk for reward where, you know what, you're gonna go and put more players there. So, you know, it's risk v reward. But there has to be a due diligence. Like, and again, maybe I'm old school where I was a striker and I just remember centre backs being so cautious by saying, where is everybody going? Like, you know what I'm saying? And listen, I know the game's moved on and I really do, but and listen, it has to come from the manager. But I think a 6 whose default setting is to be a rat. That term's gone out the game. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody a bit like but he loves to win the ball back and give it to the ball players that want to go and do something. And I just think when you looked at Liverpool starting 11, Rio on the right, Gakpo on the left, and of course you had Wirtz as the 10, and then you had Szoboszlai and Gravenberch both sitting initially. I just thought it lacked balance.
Yeah, I don't think they were even sitting now that you said that. But if they were to get a 6, then how would you play the midfield if they were to get a 6?
So for me, this is how I'd play I would play my 6, and I would play Szoboszlai as my 10 and Gravenberch. So that's how as my 8. That's how I think you need a physical 6, because I think Gravenberch has got a little bit of size to him, and I think when the season where we won it, you saw there was that element where, you know, he's got a little bit. So
right now, we ain't got a 6. Would you play McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai?
Yeah, Wirtz don't start in my team.
Okay.
Wirtz don't start in my team now, just because I think there's a few elements. Wirtz don't start in my team. I think Wirtz needs to slowly. And it's so hard because he's 100 million. So no matter what you say, you're like, how you got 100 million sitting on the bench? Yeah. But for me, price tag is price tag. That's the market. But right now, as much as he shows glimpses, I just don't think it's enough. And I think Liverpool have to get a structure first. And I say this, and I alluded to a bit when we got Thiago in the team. Like, Thiago was a ball playing. But because the structure was there, Thiago knew he had to come in, and he was making tackles. That was for me where you kind of, you don't suppress his qualities, but you bring it in off a structure that's been built. That's how I look at. So, and I think the way we play. Listen, I know we've touched on it. If Gakpo, tell me your take on Gakpo first.
All right, I'm gonna say this nice and clear. We cannot afford to sell Gakpo. Under any circumstance.
There for the people in the back.
We cannot afford to sell Gakpo. Even if Bacola comes in, if Minte comes in, if Mbaye comes in, we cannot afford to sell Gakpo. I know some think or some say he had not a good season last season, but firstly, Gakpo is our only proven goal scorer that's fit right now.
Right.
Like, Isak is for Liverpool. Isak is a goal scorer. Gakpo's our main threat when it comes to goal. He's our shooter when it comes to goal. And even he might make bad decisions in the final third sometimes, but he's our main threat when it comes to goal. I don't see any benefit in selling him. I don't see, I think what Gakpo needs is someone that is going to threaten his position. I think that was when he played his best football, when he had Diaz.
Yes.
So I think in no circumstances should we sell Gakpo. I think we take a backward step if we sell him.
But you know what? I'm glad you said that. See, for me, when I watch Gakpo is a end product mindset. That doesn't mean he gets it all the time. So I'm not saying that, like he's some clinical, but he has got a mindset of a threat. You know, and it's funny because I was seeing some discourse about, Isak, and the funny thing is Isak played similar to Firmino yesterday, as in tried to link play, wasn't in the box, had a lot of touches outside the box, but because there wasn't a Salah and Mane who would kind of do the runs, it kind of get into the box. So for me, I was like, look, don't get it twisted. I want the Isak for Newcastle. I want him to be a shooter because that's what he is. But for me, Gakpo has got that Salah mindset where it's, look, man, end product's an end product. It's a shot, it's a cross, it's a corner, it's a throw-in. That's what I got from Gakpo, and that's what Gakpo is. Give him an opportunity. We know what he's going to do. He's going to cut in on his right, and he's going to bang. When he scored his goal, he took a touch, and we can't sell him at all. Like, listen, I think Isak will come good. I really do. I think Isak will come good. I think Rio, for me, I think we shouldn't put the pressure on Rio like he is the replacement for Salah. Or I think we'll do the kid a disservice. I think we should let him naturally come and sparkle and shine like he has been. And when the people talk about, bringing in other players that will stop his pathway, for me, that's bullshit. There's enough games that he's going to be able to be involved with and be in the squad and come on, and because we keep saying it's a squad game. But I think if we put the pressure on, like he's the next thing at this moment now, I think we're going to do him a disservice.
I'm with you on that with Rio, and I'll say, I wouldn't say they're controversial kind of thoughts, but I would say I don't think he's fully ready for Premier League football yet.
As in week in, week out. He'll always be on the bench for you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's not that he'd always be on the bench.
But I know it, not saying that, but he's not a main starter week in, week out.
To me, if he got 10 to 15 starts this season in the Prem, or even 15 is even a lot. If he got 10 starts in the Prem, I think that would be an amazing feat.
That would be an amazing feat for him.
I think that's a good learning curve. I think you have to put someone there, even if you still want to play him off the left where Gakpo plays. I think even the difference between them is good enough for for him to learn. I still think he's got a whole lot of learning to do. And look, I'm not with this mindset of Rio ain't a right, he can't play on the right. I think, and I would think the same for Gakpo and any guys who play on the wings. I think they should be able to play on both wings. I know you might have a preference and you might be stronger on one side, but I think if you want to become an overall player, like you see how PSG play, they're so fluid. Their guys can play left, right, and I know they're the pinnacle right now, but I think that's how wingers should be. So I'm not buying this. He can't play on the right. I think he can learn to play there, and I think if you drip feed him in, he will learn to. And I think it'll do so much for his game anyway.
It'll benefit him.
He's 17 at this point. That's what you'd want from him.
That's what. I agree. I understand how football molds and evolves into inverted playing wingers on opposite sides because it allows you to come in, and then of course you'll have overlapping fullbacks. I understand all that, but I do think when you can add more to your arsenal, it's better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in regards to, and you do favour, because if you do play on opposite, you come in and get shots. Like, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm with you. I think it's more, and I know there's this left-sided players that we're trying. I think our right side, and of course we've lost Salah, who is a 20 goal involvement every season. But it's just I think the team lacked balance yesterday, and I do think we have to address it. And it's because I look at it now, and you know what, for me, is the most baffling thing is the fact of Liverpool. Like, the lack of depth. And I'm just talking about players. Like, I'm talking about players. And I'm all for young players coming through. Please, let them come through. When you need to go and rest players, let the young... I'm all for that. But I can't think of, and I've said this, and I'm a players. I'm always for. I think institutions will always be there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a players. But I remember not playing at a club and wanting to go out on loan, and the manager felt no way with saying, "Yo, until we get a player in, you ain't going nowhere." So by default, I was like, clubs always have to safeguard. Once you're under contract, always have to safeguard the club.
Yeah.
You know, they just need numbers because who knows in training a player goes down, and sometimes we knew as players, oh, that run, they're just keeping me for what if. You know what I'm saying? Liverpool have let more players go than they've brought in, and and there's more games. So it's not, for me, I don't even think to replace. I think that you have to bring in on top.
Yeah.
But Liverpool have let, so we already knew at the beginning of the season, Konate, Robinson and Salah was going. So we knew that. Before, so we brought in Jackie, we knew was coming in, Muniz come in, and who else is coming?
I think those are the only.
They're the only, and we're still, again, so, okay, Harvey Elliott.
And the Barcelona player.
Oh, and the Barcelona player. But before all that, we've still let Curtis Jones go.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, hold on. We struggled with numbers before them players left. So 4 now's gone. 2. For me, I look at this, I'm thinking, I don't understand how a manager's not ripping, because I'm talking about even in the EFL, the manager be like, brother, I need multiple, I need options. It's just, it baffles me. And when I said the squad, I looked at it and I was like, but I don't even know how many of these Liverpool in the squad have played over 65 Premier League games. And that, for me, that's like 2 seasons. Like, that's how much I'm like, from a place of dominance 2 years ago, from a place of a squad that was on the verge of saying, "Hey, Liverpool can go and shut shit down for a while," to now being at, and I know it's going to sound bad, but to our expectations of being like, you know what, we'll have a good cup run and we'll make Champions League. How has that shifted to that? So
nuts.
our expectations is, for me, it's mind-boggling to, of course, having stability. And then, of course, we knew under Klopp's going, slots come in. And then on the first season, we was like, oh, shit, this is seamless. Because it was the nucleus was there. And that, for me, that is just the lack of depth. And I truly believe if Iraola is not backed by the first, so what's that, 8 days? I actually think it is going to be the biggest struggle. I think Liverpool then go, I think if he's not backed, and I'm talking about 3 players, 2 players minimum, but 3 players. Listen, I'm talking about maybe, listen, I guess, listen, if everybody stays fit, then maybe, but I think with the amount of games that it is, I think that is very, very hard. And his style of football.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. I was about to touch on that. I don't think everyone stays fit with his style of football, with how intense he wants them to be. I will point out a couple things, though, what I liked. I liked the way he spoke after the game. I know Slot was like that in the first season, so let's not go too far.
Yeah, get over,
glazing. But I liked the fact that he brought off Wirtz and Rio on 60-something minutes, because it shows that, look, I haven't got time for all your settling in or bedding in period.
Right.
If you're not having good game and you're, the weak link in the team, I'm going to rule you off.
Yeah.
And, and I thought that was good. It showed that he has good features, or he sees the game as, not necessarily as we do, but he's not going to shirk from his responsibilities. And I think that puts Liverpool in good stead in the future. But let's see, even because we've got Nottingham Forest next in the weekend, we'll see, if he changes up the team a bit. We'll see if because I don't think you give even Wirtz 5 games, if he doesn't quickly improve.
So you give him 5 games and then he's on the bench for you?
Yeah.
See,
if that.
You know what slightly worries me as well, though, because Iraola doubles that. So I heard him say something where, he doesn't want to single out, because I think Gravenberch, he doesn't want to single out, and he doesn't want to single out personnel. So, everybody's crying out for a number 6, a defensive midfielder. He's like, look, I don't want to, but more it's a mindset, which I totally understand.
I agree with as well, to be fair.
I totally understand, because, listen, we won the Premier League with Szoboszlai, Mac and Gravenberch. So I do think it's a mindset. but I do think a defensive player needs to come in. I think that you do take away from the powers of Gravenberch and Szoboszlai. But again, discipline does come into play though. I truly do. So if there's 3 of you and 2's gone forward, 1 should stay.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's where it is. But my only worry is he conceded 20 goals from set pieces for Bournemouth. Like Liverpool, 20 goals. So in his default setting or DNA is, I'm not saying not attention to details, but like his thing is, defensively, I don't need a specific defensive player. My team will move like this. Do you get what I'm saying? Which, look, worked for Bournemouth. You know what I'm saying? But Bournemouth's expectations and Liverpool expectations totally different. And that's what I'm hoping that he can adapt and tweak and be like, look, how I was manoeuvring at Bournemouth, there's a whole totally different expectations here. And what I did, I see him say, he said, look, I've got to watch what I say here when he talks about the 30 minutes thing, that it's different. So I do hope, because I do think he gets it. When he came in, he gets it.
And remember,
but he's got to learn on the job.
Remember, it's a 2-year contract as well. So I guess you could put either he's really confident in himself, like, because he gets a 2-year contract, and then he wants it only renewed if the team's doing well. So in my mindset, I'm like, that's a good mentality to have. But also, it makes me feel he's confident enough to know I can do something within 2 years for you to deserve another contract.
To deserve another contract. No, I get that. I get that. And so listen, we touched on it. Liverpool starting. Do you think a right back is needed? Do you think Frimpong did enough to stay?
No, the thing is, I think it's his quality in the final third that is pissing off everyone, if I'm honest. Like, it's not that, look, if you think about it, I don't see he didn't have no lapses in defence or make any mistakes that led to bad things, but I think he got into great positions in the final third and his final ball was really lacking, and I think we've been spoilt by how good Trent was, but to not have 1 or 2 threatening balls in the box, even from 6 or 7 crosses, I think it shows a real lack of quality. And the same could be said for Kerkez. Like, a lot of people, I don't know, there was a moment where Gakpo played a good pass for him on an overlap, and Isak and even Xhaka, they were back post, and it was a simple ball just to get it to the back post, and he couldn't do it. And once again, Robertson comes to mind, and I'm like, I don't know if we've just been really spoiled, but it's so far off with both of our fullbacks that I'm like, ooh.
So the thing is, how I say it, I listen, spoiled, yeah. I think as Liverpool supporters watching the team, I think they both still hold the assist record from fullbacks, so that's 2 fullbacks with unbelievable quality. And we know you can't help but judge to that, because that's what they've come after, and our fullbacks, in regards to delivery, from what we've had, the drop off is insane in regards to that. Do you know what I'm saying? So this is not me. I'm never one to try and jump on players in regards, because you playing in the Premier League, you've got quality. Do you know what I'm saying? But in regards to what we had, so of course with Trent and Robinson, and I think that's such a big weapon and big way we play.
Even Bradley, not even, because Bradley, he's got great potential and stuff, but we've watched him enough, and we've like even if he was on, the quality's better. And that's the thing, because the drop off, even though it is a massive drop-off.
I don't even think Frimpong's a fullback. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't that say more then? Because if he's not a fullback and he still can't deliver.
Yeah, but I think he's one of them ones where he causes, he kind of reminds me, and I know he's not probably as good as a Doku, and Doku's first thing is not his delivery, it's that he makes things happen, and I think he's in that mold. Okay, so looking forward to the Forest game, would you keep the same starting lineup? Would you make changes? I mean, if everybody's fit from what we know.
If everyone's fit from what we know, Yeah, I'll probably keep the same starting lineup just because McAllister ain't had a lot of games in pre-season and stuff. Yeah, I'll keep the starting lineup and see how we fare at home because I think it should and probably would be better at home. But if it is no better, I'd probably, if there was to be changes where I wanted us to be solid at the back end, you know, potentially getting better quality in the front, I would actually change. And a lot of people don't like Tsimikas, but I actually think his quality is better than Kerkez. But that
Okay.
shows how far the fall off is.
Right.
But I think that his final ball is better than Kerkez, so I'd bring him in. I think overall, to be fair, I think overall Tsimikas is better. I think Kerkez might run around and have speed on him and whatever, but I think Tsimikas is actually better
Better
than
fullback.
yeah.
Right.
And I'd probably still keep Frimpong there for now. And that would be
So if you was to pick from what we've got now, fingers crossed, we bring in three players. I'm not even saying one. I think I kid you not, and I'll go on record here. We don't need a marquee signing.
oh 100% not.
We don't need a marquee signing. We need players.
We need
We need players. We need this manager to make a team from these players. We don't need a marquee signing. It's not like we've got the foundations and we just need the last jigsaw to our puzzle. I think there's so many pieces from this puzzle missing. So we don't need a marquee signing. So listen, I'm not turning down Barcola because the one thing I will say now, I remember for the last couple of years when there was these values put on these players, I was like, "Oh, it's just the market."
Yeah, the
For
market.
me, it's just the market. And listen, it's just I have got no control of the market. Won't have any. What the market's the market. When you're buying players, it's 80 million starting point. You know what I'm saying? So if you have to go and bring in somebody for 110 million, if Barcola's 110 million, it's 110 million. That's just what the game is now. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's not. If we can get Barcola. He's proven. You know, he's a back-to-back Champions League winner. But if all our eggs is in the basket for Barcola, please stop it. We need hella eggs, not just one.
I agree with that. What I would say is, look, I actually think I don't to say we're not far off. We sound contradicting, but I think we need key players.
So how many players? So right now, listen, of course, right now, how many players off do you think we need?
I would say 3.
Okay. I think we're 3 players off to make us competitive. Like that's what I think.
Yeah. And that's what I mean when I say that. So I think, but my thoughts are a bit different because so I think a DM. I still think we need a winger, and then I do think we need a left back. But this is me banking on Bradley being able to be fit.
See, I think we need another forward. I think right now, I think Ekatike don't come back till January. I think if we lose Isak, then we have to shepherd, Gakpo to the number 9, or they're gonna try and play Wirtz as a false number 9. Like so, for me, I think the lack of depth is alarming.
I agree.
I think we need a forward. I think we need a DM, and I think we need a right side. And I would then be like, up until January, be like, okay, cool. Bradley comes back. We've got the guy from Barcelona that's come in that can play centre back or right back. We've got Tsimikas and Kerkez who's left back, which man would take at this point, regardless of what, because it's numbers. But I think we need a number 6 because, of course, it then allows us to have, because we've lost Curtis Jones. So we need a 6, we need a right side, and we need a striker. Again, Isak's just come back from a long injury. Something tweaks, or we can't even rest.
Yeah.
Who do we have as a number 9? And I know they'll be talking about, when then Ekatike comes back, we'll have 3. So, like, we're Liverpool. For me, this is my point now, and I know it sounds like a rant. I just think the lack of depth in numerous positions is alarming. When you've got, and the worst thing is we knew Ekatike was going to be out for a while, and how you don't go and bring in a striker on loan. If need be, you'd be like, I'll bring in a striker of loan. What's worried me, and that's a worried strong word, I don't use the word worried, is I think there was an element of shrewd business. When we got Maka for 30, we got Maka for 30 million. it's all of a sudden, it looks like Liverpool wait, so everybody knows we're desperate for players.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So Liverpool, they bidded for Minte. So what do you think of that signing?
Cool.
Oh, you think, yeah?
Cool. Like, do you know what I'm telling you this now? I swear to you, this is where I feel that I like Iraola to the point where I'm like, bring in players and he get the best out of them, because I've seen him do that at Bournemouth. So if he can do that at Bournemouth, and I know the expectation's different, I feel that, you know what, because he wants to succeed, he will push them. So for me, at this point now, and I'm not saying just anybody, but anybody. I swear to you, I'm kind of, like I said, the lack of bodies, just the squad.
Yeah.
For me, it's alarming. You know, when everybody, I'm seeing pundits and Liverpool man them, and they're like, yeah, you know what, Liverpool's gonna be okay. I sit there and I'm like, hold on, like I'm just talking about literally with the amount of games which we keep saying. There's so many games. There's internationals. There's 4 cups on 4 fronts that Liverpool are playing for, and you're like, we don't have nobody. So Minter, bring him in. But and they bring him in. But go get man a striker. Bring him in. There's a lot of players which I think in the environment, and I know fans may try and be like, no, we want the right person, which I get to, but I don't think we are at a luxury where we can turn around and just be like, right now
we just need the numbers.
We need numbers, and that's the point where that's where I'm at, and it's just for me, it's more than anything, it's alarming.
So yeah, with the Forest game on the weekend. At home, what team would you go with?
You know what? I'll bring in Iraola right back. I'll start Jackie, Van Dijk, and I'll keep Kerkez, Alisson in goal. I'd bring Maka to start the game. I wouldn't bring Maka to start the game. I would have Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and I'll have Wirtz as my 10. I'll have Gakpo, Isak, and Frimpong.
Oh, you have Frimpong there.
I'll have Frimpong on the right. I'll take Rio out. I will take, I'll take Rio out. So Rio would be the one I'll take out from Rojo.
Yeah.
Put Frimpong, and then I know I've got that. That's what I'd bring in for that, because I know Nottingham Forest is a bit more physical. But again, I know we're at Anfield, and I do expect us to have the ball. But that's what I'd put, because I do think at this moment, I think we've got to take a little bit of pressure off Rio, and I would like to be able to say that. I could move Gakpo over to the right if need be. I can move up front. I can bring Rio on the left. That's what I bring. So I'd bring Rojo in for whoever I said took out. For Rio.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Cool. So what would your starting 11 be for Forest?
I'll go Alisson. I'll still have Frimpong. I'll have Jackie and Verge centre. I would have Tsimikas as left back.
Okay.
Then I'll still have Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. I'll have Wirtz, and on the right I would have Munoz, and then left Gakpo, up top Isak.
Okay. To be fair, I forgot about Munoz, but I like the fact that, when you just bring in little cameos.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I would. But I get that. I get that team. But I just, there's this element of, I want to be able to look at the bench and be like, if it's not happening, I can make changes.
Yeah,
so
but I think that's what Rio would be there for. But I also think we need raw pace, and I think Munoz has that. That's what I'm hoping as well. We get Bacola or Minte, because they've got blistering
raw pace.
And I think Liverpool lacks that.
Yeah, man, we missed that.
I think it would free up Isak completely. You'd see a completely new game if we get.
I'm telling you that now. If we can get 2 flying machines either side, Isak's game's going to be on a whole nother level. And 100%. Then you've also got the change of Gakpo, who I think still a killer in front of goal, and he's our only intentful, purposeful killer in front of goal. But yeah, man, listen, I think we need 3 players. And then, you know what, we'll see how, because I do know, and he made a massive point about feeding off the energy of Anfield. So I am actually excited to see how he takes, how he takes to Anfield and his first home game in regards to a league game. So, and we'll see how it runs, man.
So how would you guys be if you're not able to make any signings before the window closes. Do you feel you have enough to win trophies and so on?
No.
No, I think if we don't make no signings, I think what happens is it will be a very bit start season. I think you will see games where Liverpool draw, then go through a couple games, lose, and then win. Because listen, Liverpool have got good players, and I do think Iraola will get a better style of football, more Liverpool-esque. But I just think the lack of depth it'll be telling. I think the worst thing is I think one injury. I think one injury and it just derails what's already
I agree.
problematic at the moment personally. So
I'll even go out on a limb and be like, if we don't make any signings, we won't qualify for the Champions League.
I agree with that. I'll say that as well. I'll go out and I think if we don't make no signings, we don't qualify for the Champions League. I think I think Sunderland's got more players than Liverpool in regards to squad wise. I think Newcastle's got more squad to. I just think when you look at Liverpool's team, and the worst thing is I'm all for the young bucks. I really am. I want to see Naoni play more this season. I see Kumas come in. I want to see him. I like Rio. I see for me, and this is not even when class of '92 where you're saying you can't win anything with kids. It's not even that. I think Liverpool's rebuild in regards to, again, stylistically and bodies. I mean, you keep saying how many injuries we get. And not being funny, you looked at, now Arsenal went to bolster their squad last season in regards to bolstering their squad and their foundations with being their manager that they already knew was already there, solid. So you've now come a new manager who wants to bring in these new ideas with the most minimal of bodies. Take in his stylistic is playing intense his football is so intenseful. I don't even know if that's a word, but you know what I mean. So for me, it's the bodies. And again, if you are a Liverpool supporter, like when you go look at the names, for me the proof's in it when you just go look at how many Premier League games has this Liverpool squad played. That's how I look. I'm not even just talking about for Liverpool. These are how many Premier League games has this Liverpool squad where you're talking about. If you then take out Isak at the moment, who plays as number 9, this is Liverpool going for a Champions League. If you take out Isak right now, I think you can go through every other team, and if you take out a striker, you know directly who will play in that position. Right now, there's too many players you have to move, and I think that's the problem. When you've got to keep moving players, that before the season, they was talking about Szoboszlai may have to play right back. That is a problem. If you haven't got players, we can't sit here and say, and a manager may throw a curveball, I get that. But we can't, I believe, and listen, quote me, and I bet in the comments, go through the Premier League teams and take out a main striker, and we'll be able to say generally, that person will probably play there. And it'll be a shock if he's not. Right now, Isak comes out Liverpool's number 9, who plays as a striker. And this is the start of the season. We're not talking mid-season and 15 games are played. We're talking about 1 game's gone. If Isak, God forbid, was to pull up, who would be number 9? Literally. Like even when you look at, I think, Aston Villa, that young boy, Rojo, 17, like Watkins didn't play. I don't know if he did play. I'm just throwing this out there. But you would be able to directly be able to say on all the teams, all right, we'll take him out. We've got that for me is problematic. So that's the worry.